Hello everyone, my name is Meghan LeVota. I apologize for being incredibly exhausted. I kind of can't keep my eyes open, but I felt inspired to do a video, so this one's gonna be a little bit rambly. If you're here for like educational purposes, I would recommend trying google.com. But yeah, I just wanted to share that over the past couple weeks, I sort of had a breakthrough in my spirituality. I don't know, some sort of block is just gone that used to be there between me trusting my own intuition, and I was able to find a tarot deck that really worked for me, that I've been able to use to ask questions when I'm stuck. And so I just kind of wanted to tell you guys a little bit about tarot and how I use it for those that are curious. I mean, if you're not really interested in tarot, this probably isn't the video for you. But for those of you who have seen the traditional, there's the traditional Rider-Waite tarot that I don't know when it was created, but it's pretty like ancient, and each image is like an archetype. So if you think about all of the energy and all of the possibilities that exist, each tarot deck is supposed to sort of reflect an archetype, or each card is supposed to reflect an archetype of that energy. And personally, it's like you could use tarot in many ways, and I personally believe that different personality types use them in different ways. This is something that I'm sort of thinking about now, that I'm eventually going to release sort of content about, like how to tap into your intuition based on your type, because it's very different. Like some people, like, just the gist of it is that I've noticed that P's in general, so if you're using SE or NE, then it might be helpful to use tarot as just like an overview of like, where am I right now? Sort of to just validate what you're seeing. And J's with NI and SI seem to be like, should I do this or should I do this? What's gonna be the best? So that might work best for you. I don't know, but pretty much, I got a tarot deck in like, I think 2014 for the first time. And so I've been familiar with it for a while. And back then, really the way I was using it is I had the traditional Rider-Waite, and I was like, is my life going good or bad? Or like, is this gonna happen? Is this not? Like, and I perceived the cards in a very black and white way. I learned what they meant, and I had like my tarot book and everything, and I conceptually understood what they meant, but it didn't work for me because I was using them to try and validate, like, am I doing the right thing or am I not? Like, if I would get like, you know, the Three of Swords, which is the heart with swords going through it, I would like panic and be like, oh my gosh, everything I'm doing is wrong. And so that's not the way to use tarot. But anyway, if you are interested in learning, I would recommend, don't just go for the traditional one unless that really speaks to you. Really ask yourself, do these images speak to me? And I know that that's kind of a vague thing, but like, I mean, and if that confuses you, if you're like, what do you mean speak to me? Then I would recommend just going for the traditional one. But like for me, I recently got this deck that's called the Voyager Tarot, that it uses the same sort of archetypes, but it doesn't use the same symbol as the traditional one. And for me, that was exactly what I needed to sort of break away from some of the negative associations that I built over the years of the traditional tarot symbols. Now, I could have done the work to just be like, swords doesn't mean bad or whatever. But for me, like, this deck calls it crystals instead of swords, and speaks to me more because it's more about thinking than, I don't know, something negative that stabs you. I mean, swords just still make sense as a symbol, but like for me, the images on this deck sort of speaks to my intuition more, and so I'm very, very, very excited about that, because for me, people can use tarot in many ways. For me, it's like kind of jogs my own intuition. If I see something, it's almost like the answers are already within, and these are images that can be sort of a sign to inspire you to realize something within. Like if you pull a card and it's like this sort of archetypal energy, then it's going to sort of force you to introspect and see like, well, where does that energy show up with me? And the deck that I got, to me, I mean, my friend Crystal, who's an ENFP, she says it seems like a very SE deck, and that she couldn't really read it. But it's almost like the SE, it's very beautiful imagery, and it just sort of triggers my NI in a way. For those of you who don't know, I can make a video on this topic another time, but there are multiple different psychic gifts that people can tap into, and they're called the clairs. You could be clairaudient, you can be clairsentient, clairvoyant, claircognizant. That's a whole other thing. Definitely recommend Googling that if you're interested in your psychic gifts. I believe there's a video by Gigi Young that talks about it, who I believe she's an INFJ. I really like her channel. But anyway, I'm saying that like, there are different ways, in addition to just being NE or NI, there are different ways to process psychic information. And psychic information isn't the same thing as intuition. It's the same sort of thing as like brilliant. Being brilliant isn't the same as using a thinking function, and having emotions isn't the same as using a feeling function. So although intuitives might be more predisposed to sort of focusing on that psychic energy or that sixth sense that they have, we all have that. And you know, it's not really something that we can see in the sensory world. That's why it's intuition. It's something that there might not be proof of it. And so this sort of exploring your psychic gifts and all that might be hard to do if you are someone that is really focused on like, where's the proof? So, you know, it's not for everyone. But if you already are sort of dabbling in that, I definitely recommend figuring out like what your like clairs are, because we all, okay, it's like, just as we all have the ability to touch our toes and be flexible, we all have the ability to sort of listen to our intuition. It's almost like an intuitive muscle that sometimes you need to grow it, and some people are more predisposed to it. And so just because you don't like have dreams that like, just because you don't have like psychic dreams that like predict the future, doesn't mean that you don't have psychic energy or like something that you can tap into. It's just the whole realm of the things that you can't see. I personally am very claircognizant, which means to me it sort of comes as just like a knowing. Some people will sort of like maybe hear voices when they're about to go to sleep, just sort of hear phrases in their head. Some people will sort of see pictures. You know, everyone's different, and it doesn't even necessarily line up with personality type. But for me, as someone that's very claircognizant, which means clear knowing, these cards that I got, I'm so excited because it sort of just like triggers that part of me where like I have been able to ask questions and then be like, oh, this means this. And it's helped me sort of, what's the word, wade through some sort of uncertain waters, understand what I should focus on. The things that I ask myself is like, what sort of mindset should I have toward the situation? And then I put that, pull a card, or I'll say like, what is the fear that's holding me back? What is the obstacle that I have to get over? What is the outcome, assuming that I follow my intuition and do this advice? And so the way I see it in general is that we co-create with the universe. I'm just one person. I'm not God. I don't have all the control. I'm just one person, but I do have responsibility over my own life, and I can use the universe, God, whatever, to help me get to where I want. It's a co-creating relationship. So I'm not asking God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, for the answers. I am saying, hey, like, let's create something together. Like, please help me out. It's, to me, it can be sort of like praying. It's not like a, oh my God, please tell me the future. It's like a, hey, well, can you give me a sign to help me have the right mindset in the situation? So, and if you listen to your inner wisdom, you'll know how to interpret the cards. Knowing the symbolism that goes along with the cards is helpful. But if you have like a gut feeling that isn't even necessarily represented in the archetype or in like the book, listen to it. Like, for example, what's an example? Like, I can't remember the one now, but it's like, okay, like if I were to get the Hanged Man, which is a guy like upside down, it sort of represents being in limbo. And if I were to like ask a question like, am I where I need to be, or like something, and I got that card, depending on the situation and depending on my energy, I can interpret that as either, yeah, you are sort of stuck and you need to get moving and you don't need to be in this position. Or I can interpret it as, oh, you're supposed to be in this position. And only you know, as the interpreter of the cards. It's not like, or like if you got a reading from somebody who was using their own psychic gifts and interpretations to help you. But like, if something doesn't resonate with you, like you don't have to be so literal and black and white in that, because only you know how to apply that Hanged Man energy to your life. So anyway, I am very excited that I have that tool now, and it's helping me tap into my intuition and all of that stuff. And I'm really excited to start making more videos like this that are sort of getting out of the box of personality type. If there are any topics similar to this that you are interested in, that you'd like me to make a video about, please let me know. And also, within the next month, I am going to be launching a typing service. So if you're interested in that, just be aware that it's coming. Maybe comment, or I'm trying to think about what I should have you guys do. I have links below that are like for my other offerings. You can like reach out to me through those links and say, hey, like, let me know whenever I have a typing service available or something like that, or just be on the lookout, because that is something that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be sort of restructuring the way I do things to make it easier for me to help more people at like a cheaper price for you guys. So yeah, I've had a great few like couple weeks. I'm sorry I haven't been uploading that much. I've been just very in my own head, trying to figure out my life. Like, I mean, what else is new? But yeah, I'm excited for Aries season. If any of you guys follow astrology, Aries season sort of lines up with the spring equinox, and so I'm excited for this new youthful, lively energy to come in, because, you know, I'm an Aries moon, and all this sort of, I mean, the weather's just been terrible where I live. Like, there's been so many snowstorms. I've been sort of forced in my own head feeling about things like in Pisces season. So I'm really excited, and hopefully this cleared up some, I don't know, hopefully this was interesting. I don't know why anyone even watches my videos, so I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna stop trying to just come up with a rationalization. But anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day.